Just like Gaga, another heavyweight made their big return on Friday. 5 years after Parasite's historic Oscars win, Bong Joon-Ho is back with Mickey 17, a dystopian space epic starring Robert Pattinson, Naomi King, Mark Ruffalo, Steven Yeun, and Toni Collette. This is Bong's first film since Parasite, so the question is, were you on the edge of Mickey 17?
Oh my God! I took the Stevie Nicks song. I'm very confused for a second. There's also, of course, the Haley Steinfeld movie, super underrated, Edge of 17, really good movie. This movie did nothing for me. I was very shocked to not like it almost at all, even though I thought Robert Pattinson was absolutely fabulous. He plays the character he plays. It's sort of a familiar dystopian trope. He's like a person who keeps being reanimated, like he's entered this sort of pact system where they keep using his body for science and they throw that body away and then get a new one and then a new one and a new one and a new one. And everybody keeps constantly asking him what it's like to die. But the way he plays the character of Mickey 17, the 17th iteration of this person, kind of reminds me of Crispin Glover in Back to the Future, like sort of stuttering and self-effacing and like kind of afraid everyone's going to beat him up all the time. You know, like that's sort of the vibe. And I appreciated hearing that from him because it doesn't remind me of anything he's ever done before. And I have liked some of his prestigier projects like The Lighthouse, for example, where we learned that Willem Dafoe has fucking huge thighs. I could not believe it. That man was Vincent van Gogh at one point.
You didn't know that? He could barely fit in that Green Goblin costume, baby.
Were you there at the fitting? Excuse me?
He was filling that out.
Okay.
Nicely. Okay?
Wild. Yeah, but otherwise, first of all, this movie reminds me almost exactly of Snowpiercer and Okja, so it felt very reiterative to me, down to the creatures in this movie who had that kind of roly-poly, armadillo-y quality that Okja had, down to the political humor in this movie, which features Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette as a sort of Trumpian couple who are like cackling baddies, like who are like clinking glasses and running this very Orwellian society into the ground. It felt
baddie space,
if you will, and I won't. It felt very like first thought comedy to me. I didn't think it was a really proud showing for either Mark Ruffalo or Toni Collette. Honestly, when Toni Collette does silly in a movie, it is just not my thing. Like, she has had some of the most brilliant performances ever, and yet I think of her in Knives Out. Why was she in Knives Out? Just like certain things don't fit the vibe that Toni Collette brings to the screen, and this is one of them.
You weren't down with Mafia Mama?
Again, I think I would have cast like 10 other people in Mafia Mama before her.
No, I'm kidding. I remember when we interviewed her for Mafia Mama, when we had seen a screener of it.
Yeah.
I think I had famously tweeted, I just watched the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
I don't know if it was that. I don't think it was the worst movie.
And people were like, girl, what movie did you just see? And then they realized I was talking about Mafia Mama 2 months later.
It's just one of those things where she's so brilliant. I mean, like, forever and ever we'll have performances from Toni Collette that are second to none. And she's even a hard actress to compare to anybody else. Like, Laura Dern kind of comes to mind, but honestly not. And in this movie, I kept thinking of other people who would have done the role better. Also, this is supposed to be, I think, a sort of au courant kind of dystopian movie. And yet, the way they play these roles, how is it any more advanced than what Jack Nicholson and Glenn Close do in Mars Attacks?
Say that. One thing I'll address first, I want to circle back to you talking about Robert Pattinson in this film. And the Mickey 17 character obviously is this sort of unsure, mousy, lets people walk all over him sort of character.
Yeah.
And then you're introduced to Mickey 18 because the plot of the movie is they think that he died.
Right.
On this allegedly uninhabitable planet. And so they produce a Mickey 18. And Mickey 18 comes out surly. He's angry. He's like, fuck capitalism. Like, he wants to kill Ruffalo's character. And what works for me in the film is this concept of no matter like what happens through cloning or replicating ourselves, whatever, you know, we've seen movies like this before. I think the heart of this film is that you're always going to be different because you can't replicate a human soul, etc. What's interesting about the performances that Robert gives in the film, he, in an interview, said that he drew upon Ren and Stimpy for both characters.
I'm thinking about really. I guess Ren does have a sort of resting angst about him, and Stimpy, I can kind of hear it in the voice a little bit, like literally.
Yeah,
the sound
he did it for
of
the voices
voice.
particularly.
Yeah.
He did it for the voices particularly, but I think just also the way like he, like the abusive nature of their relationship too, it helped get into it. Sort of Pinky and the Brainish as well,
Quite.
if you will. But when it comes to this movie, Louis,
Yes.
Yeah, it was kind of boring.
It also was too long. It's like 2 hours 20. I just also felt like the point of the movie was the point of all dystopian movies. I just am not a fan of dystopia, period. Like, the characters are ultimately one-dimensional. It's like good guys, bad guys. You know, like Naomi Aki is literally kicking ass as part of the good side. And I will say, this girl is an awesome actor, and I'm so sorry. That Whitney Houston movie was fucking underrated. She was excellent in that movie.
Oh, I love that movie, and I love her. And I will say that another problem with this film is, honestly, that it just wasn't funny. I saw this when I was at Austin.
The comedy is so pathetic. The comedy could not be worse.
I went the day it opened when I was in Austin. I was really fucking excited to see this movie, you know? And I'm sitting there, and there are just long stretches in the movie where I am not laughing.
Yeah.
And it feels almost like you're on this shit because there's just like it's giving the Silence of the Lamb. Okay. You're like, okay, is there another joke coming? I checked my phone so many times.
Also,
when is this ending?
Also, I mean, it's so weird that this comes on the heels of Parasite, where there's a ton of humor in that movie. And also, it's like kind of sly humor sometimes, like sardonic and cynical as this movie is, but also like wittier. I don't know, like the scene in Parasite where they're starting to infiltrate this rich household and they invent their little backstory before they walk inside, and they make up a little story about living at Illinois State University, and they like rehearse a little rhyme so they can get the act down. So funny. There's no like insight like that. And I think a big difference between this movie and Parasite is Parasite felt like it was full of real people, whereas nobody in this movie feels like a real person to me.
They really don't. The one character who sort of felt like a real person was Kai, who is played by Anna Marie Bartolome. She is a person who's sort of like she's in the same role as Naomi Aki on the show. You know, she's in security, etc. And she has a flirtation with Mickey, and sort of when she discovers that they're doubles, she sort of tries to blackmail Naomi Aki into sleeping with him. And this is after standing up to Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette and being aghast at what they were doing. So she was a person who sort of felt like a three-dimensional person in the sense that she had a moral code that made her stand up to the fascists in the movie, but then she also succumbed to something gross by trying to blackmail this woman into being like, well, I'm going to start sleeping with your boyfriend now. Mm-hmm. You know, like it gave us shades of something. And I just feel like there were no three-dimensional characters in this film. There were no shades. I loathed Mark Ruffalo's character in this. And I get that this movie was supposed to come out last year and was pushed back so fucking much. But the minute I saw the fucking red hats in the film, I was like, what are we doing here?
And also, it's another case of Mark Ruffalo in this movie. If you've seen Tilda Swinton in Okja, it's like, well, she did that way better too. Like there are certain things that feel lifted from earlier Bong Joon-Ho movies that just are
and he's so great here. To be honest.
Oh, please. I loved him in Poor Things. I loved him. Going back to You Can Count on Me. Please. I love Mark Ruffalo in movies.
Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette are such amazing actors, and they really just were not giving it to me in this film.
And it was supposed to have this sort of Boris and Natasha, like, you know, like they're obvious villains, but we love that, you know. But it just, the comedy never landed even one time, and it needed to be funny. In order for these scenes to be bearable, it needed to be funny. Now, something I did like in the movie was the interactions between Mickey 17 and Mickey 18, which brought me back to another extremely underrated thing over the past couple of years, and we had her here to promote it, Rachel Weisz in Dead Ringers. Like, this thing, it's incredibly seamless. You really forget you are watching obvious CGI. They're clearly not to Robert Pattinson's real life. To watch them interact was masterful. I mean, like, they really, I don't know how they do it. Much like Rachel Weisz was absolutely mesmerizing against herself in that miniseries version of the old Jeremy Irons movie, Dead Ringers.
Honestly, the saving grace of this film is Robert Pattinson's performance. Yeah. I think that he is truly one of the best actors that we have right now. And I think that it's unfortunate that this is kind of a career best performance for him in a movie that is just not great at all.
It's a meandering movie. It's ponderous and just makes obvious stabs at a kind of dystopia. It sets up this very obvious dystopian society that's supposed to tell us something about the world in which we live. And if you already haven't come to those conclusions, I don't know what planet you're living on.
Yeah. When you think about someone encountering a different version of themselves in a space movie that feels more human, I want people to check out Moon, starring Sam Rockwell.
Oh my God, yes. That was like the movie that turned him into the Sam Rockwell of today. By the way, Sam Rockwell and Leslie Bibb, a power couple I can't get enough of.
Yeah, I love Sam Rockwell. I love that movie. My friend Justin had been talking about this movie so much to me lately, and then all of a sudden it was just in my brain when I was watching Mickey 17. Do you remember The Island?
No, what is that?
Ewan McGregor, Scarlett Johansson.
I don't remember
Michael
this at
Bay
all.
movie, like 2005, 2006. They are on an island, and basically you find out that rich people have these clones of themselves that they harvest for organs. Yes. Yeah, it's honestly one of Michael Bay's most underrated films, which feels wild to say that about Michael Bay. But when he's in his bag, he's in his fucking bag. And I would urge people to check out The Island because it is a gag.
And also, the original series Bewitched, where Elizabeth Montgomery sometimes interacts with her identical cousin. Guys, I'm sorry, amusing every time. I love when a blonde actress on a show has an evil twin or something and she has dark hair. Baby, I'm tuning in.
I said here you go as if I was not watching every Nick at Night Bewitched summer block party marathon.
Oh, please. And they would watch 6 a night. And you know that there were 1,000. I was like, it can be black and white or color. Take me to any era in Bewitched.
Yeah, it was just disappointing how much I did not enjoy this movie.
Right.
Because I've been with it being pushed back too. I was so looking forward to this movie, and if anything, it's just even more disappointing because Robert is so amazing in it. Naomi Ackie is great in it, and I want to see them together in a different movie that's better. Maybe. Something on OnlyFans.
If they could
when
just
she
give this
wanted to be
whole
Eiffel,
legitimate acting thing over, yeah, get rid of that. Make it $9.99 a month, that sort of thing.
Listen, the most believable thing in that movie was Naomi Ackie being like, "Well, can I just fuck both of you?"
She's like, "No, I get them both." Her reasoning why I get them both. Yeah. Smart girl.
He's so good in this movie, and it's just so unfortunate that it's not a good movie.
Right. Rewatch The Lighthouse.
Yeah. We've talked about this phrase a lot in the episode, but damn, Bong Joon-Ho was reheating his nachos in this movie.
Now, this is a case of reheated nachos. Yes. Dictionary. Type it in.
It was literally Bong Joon-Ho's greatest hits.
It's Snowpiercer and Okja, an underwhelming hybrid of both. It's like they put them in a blender, but then there was also too much water, so it doesn't taste like anything.
Oh, it tastes like one of those sauces that Toni Collette was obsessed with. The sauce shit.
Could she say sauce one more motherfucking time? Bitch, are you the frugal gourmet? You need to stop.
Also, the film commits another sin, which is that when you think it's over, nope, here's this epilogue that feels like it has to wrap shit up and get into this weird dream sequence. And I was just like, girl, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we already got past the villain part. Don't bring Toni Collette in again to look at the camera.
Anyways, it's a Bong Joon-Ho for me.
If you will, yes. It didn't pierce my snow. My snow remained unpierced this time.
All right. When we're back, we are joined by the delightful Asia Naomi King to discuss her new series, Grosse Pointe Garden Society.
Keep It is brought to you by Planned Parenthood Federation of America. No matter what, your sexual and reproductive health decisions, including abortion, belong to you. Planned Parenthood organizations are fighting for common sense policies that protect our right to control our own bodies and futures, and keep personal health care decisions between patients and their doctors, not unqualified lawmakers. Nearly 80% of Americans want that. The attacks on Planned Parenthood, our health care, our basic rights, they just don't stop. But you know what else doesn't stop? Planned Parenthood. The amazing staff and volunteers at Planned Parenthood health centers across the country do whatever they can to provide high-quality, affordable care to 2 million annual patients. No matter what nonsense some people in power try to pull, you can help. Donate to support Planned Parenthood at plannedparenthood.org/protect. That's plannedparenthood.org/protect. This podcast is sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online, whether you're just starting out or managing a growing brand. Squarespace makes it easy to create a beautiful website, engage with your audience, and sell anything from products to content to time, all in one place, all on your terms. Squarespace is now introducing Design Intelligence, a new feature that combines 2 decades of industry-leading design expertise with cutting-edge AI technology to unlock your strongest creative potential. Design Intelligence empowers anyone to build a beautiful, more personalized website tailored to their unique needs and craft a bespoke digital identity to use across one's entire online presence. Once your audience has found their dream product, Squarespace Payments is the easiest way to manage your payments in one place. Onboarding is fast and simple. Get started in just a few clicks and start receiving payments right away. Plus, give your customers more ways to pay with popular payment methods like Klarna, ACH Direct Debit, Apple Pay, Afterpay, and ClearPay. You can also connect major social and multimedia accounts to your website in a few clicks, as icons, direct links, or embedded feeds. Build visitor trust while updating content only where you need it, extending your brand's footprint. Sellers can also sync their product catalog directly with Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Google to reach more customers and reduce the steps for a purchase. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/keepit to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/keepit.
This week's guest is one of my favorite faces to see on screen. You know her from How to Get Away with Murder, Birth of a Nation, Lessons in Chemistry, and more. Now she's starring as Catherine in Grosse Pointe Garden Society, NBC's new suburban murder mystery series. Please welcome to Keep It, the Emmy-nominated Asia Naomi King.
Yay. I'm just going to clap for myself.
You should.
It was a very light clapping. It was real golf-like.
I was like, I didn't want to, I'm an elegant clap.
I want to start by asking, did you expect years after How to Get Away with Murder to be burying shit in dirt again in flashbacks too?
Like, right, I know, right, with time jumps, changing colors, like, oh no, where are we, what's going on? No, I did not think that my life was going to take me back in this direction, but what can I say, a girl loves danger. Yeah, when I read this script, especially after doing like Lessons in Chemistry, which was just such a beautiful experience and such a powerful character I got to play there, there was something kind of like lighthearted and fun that I was really attracted to about this project. And it just felt, I just knew it was going to feel good, and I was excited about the other actors that were going to be in it with me. And I was just really ready for, to just mix it up again. But then, of course, the writers totally, our showrunners, Jenna Bans and Bill Krebs, totally threw all that out the window, in my opinion, because the stuff I have done on this show, I have been almost even more challenged than I've been in the past because I've never really had to do anything that leaned into comedy the way that this does. And so that was really terrifying for me. And then they were like, oh, we're going to keep all the nuance going by also having these incredibly deep storylines with your character, with like her marriage and how she mothers and like the guest stars we bring onto the show that kind of fill out the family life. Like, you're going to be happy. You're going to be very happy.
Now, okay, I feel like all network TV should do is produce shows like this. Like, put me in a suburb with some mysteries going. It's where I belong. It's what I want to be thinking about. Now, when you get into a show like this, and I guess this maybe applies to How to Get Away with Murder too, do you watch other shows in the genre to get in the zone for this? Or is it purely an acting space and you draw all your experience out of nowhere?
Oh, I'm drawing my experience like from the script, you know, like I'm just taking it all from the script and living in this like heightened existence of this world. And I am with you. Network television should have more shows like this. And I am shocked realizing like we are the only show like this on network TV. There is nothing like this. And it makes me really proud of it because there is that kind of like nostalgia to it. And it feels like comfort food to be able to see these stories and see these characters. And, you know, it's like it has these utterly absurd moments that are hilarious and then countered with this contrast of these like dark, like terrifying, thrilling moments of these characters trying to figure out what to do with the body. And there's something about it that's like, oh, it's so familiar in that way. And I'm shocked that like, you know, like Desperate's been off for how long?
Right.
Murder's been off for like 5 years. So it's like, oh, like where's that thing been? And I'm just happy that I get to be a part of bringing it back.
Good. You know, and even going back to How to Get Away with Murder, I mean, what was that experience like joining that show and then it continuing for so long? And I feel like each season it was something different, something wild for the viewers. And just how do you feel, you know, since so much time has passed now since that show, about everything that was going on just from season to season, episode to episode, scene to scene, to be honest?
Yes. I mean, that show was such a wild ride. I'll never forget getting the job. I remember being on the phone with my team and them telling me, like, not only am I being cast to play Michaela Pratt, but then they shared that Viola Davis was going to lead the show. And I was just like, oh, we're a hit. Like, I was just like, that was all we needed. That's it. Like, Viola Davis is going to do this. Like, boom, done. And God, we just had so much fun and the show was so insane. And I remember Pete Nowak, who was the creator of the show under the Shonda Land banner, talking about how, you know, with Shonda was very like, don't wait till the end of the season to give us some big explosive storyline. Begin with that and figure out where you can go from there. And that's what it was at the top of each season, just like blowing up our whole world. And now we've got to like figure out where to go from here. And I mean, we never knew what was going to happen. Even when one of us was supposed to be killed off the show, we didn't know who it was going to be until we were shooting it, which honestly, like, that's anxiety inducing. That's uncomfortable. But it was such a great time, and like the friendships that I was able to form with my castmates then, it was a really special time in my life, and we were just all bonded forever because of that really beautiful experience where like no one knew who we were, you know, and then we got to be on this show where everything about it was so lifted because of Viola Davis especially, and just being in her orbit like just made everything that much better. And the show was so fantastic because of what she was able to contribute to it. So it's really fun for me to walk into this new space, this new show that has stuff about it that does like remind you of Murder, Desperate Housewives, and be like, okay, like I get to take part in creating the atmosphere here and in taking the lead, and that feels really good because I feel like I've got to see the greatest do it. So now I'm excited to have my turn.
I don't know if you ever did speech team in high school, but Viola Davis reminds me of who you see approach the lectern, like your opponent or whatever, and you're like, it's over. Like, she hasn't even spoken yet.
Like, right, you're done.
Yeah.
Like, walk away now. It's like, she's coming. Like, this is the smoking gun.
Yeah, right. Before she even begins, like, the extemporaneous whatever she's supposed to do. You know, it's all in the eyes.
Right. Oh, my God, yes. I mean, her presence. To be in her presence. There's an undeniable energy about her, and you feel it. You know you are in the presence of greatness. And that's a wonderful thing to be able to say about a Black woman in this day and age and what this industry has become. Like, I am so happy that she has that. I mean, she's always been worthy and deserved that, but that everyone else feels that way about her as well.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned earlier the time jumps thing, and I have when you're doing that on the show, because this applies to How to Get Away with Murder and now this show, are there things you have to keep in mind while performing various storylines that like maybe don't seem obvious to the the average viewer?
Yes. I mean, I have to reread the script so many times now because there's so many details about everything that will get jumbled up in my mind, and I'm like, wait, what? Are we in the future? Are we in the past? What are we in the present? Like, where are we? And we have an amazing script supervisor on this show who can always tell you, like, yes, this is 5 minutes after the murder happened. That's where you are. It's like, oh, okay, great. Now I know how to play this scene. And the crew here in Atlanta has been fantastic. By the way, I just have to like shout out the crew because the working environment has been so wonderful here and has allowed it all to be such a safe space to really explore and play and be creative and have fun with this.
Yeah, and I want to even just bring up lessons in chemistry too. Now, I mean, you were Emmy nominated for this series, and it's I really did enjoy it. It's one of those things that I found on Apple TV, which I feel like has the best hidden shows.
You say that with such surprise.
It has these
you never know what you're going to get there. Yeah,
you never know what you're going to get there, and yet I'm always recommending a show to a friend, and I'm always shocked. I'm like, wait, it's on Apple TV, but we're not always talking about it and getting press from these shows that are on Apple TV. And I think that you were so great on that, and I just want to know, like, what was it like working with You've worked with, these powerhouse actresses from Viola Davis, and now you've worked with Brie Larson on this. What was it like, I guess, forming a rapport with Brie?
Oh, I mean, she's so lovely. Like, I have to say, I feel like I've been really lucky in this industry. Like, all of the women that I have come across have always been so just wonderful and supportive. And I just remember the first day with Brie because she was also a producer on this project. And she really leaned into me and was like, you own this as much as the rest of us. Like we have faith in you. We believe in you. So if something doesn't feel right, if something feels off, like speak your mind. Like you have a say, you have a voice. It matters. We want to hear it. And that was so true. Like it wasn't just lip service, and it was such a beautiful gift to give me because I was walking into that space feeling, just new environment, new people, new Oscar winner, like just feeling a little intimidated and uncomfortable and unsure of like, what is this experience going to be? And it was just so welcoming. And Brie's energy is very much like there's no above the line, below the line. Like everyone here, this is the team, this is family. We're all together. Like she was pulling out games for people to play because she wanted everyone to be comfortable all the time. And I was just like, oh, wow, like she's such a great leader and knows how to like make people feel really comfortable on the set. And it's like you don't even realize how necessary these things are because, you're spending truly like 12 to 16 hours in these spaces with people. You're spending more time on these sets than you are with your family. Like my child at home is like, where's mommy? Honestly, he like says to me like, "Mommy, stop working," and I'm like, "Do you like food? do you like this home? Mommy can't do that. But yeah, Brie was great. Brie was great for that, and I felt very empowered by her, and it makes all the difference in the world to be able to step into that space and know that you can bring your full self to the part, and know that you belong.
Keep It is brought to you by Lumen. Now, what do I know about metabolism? There was some Netflix documentary a couple months ago where I learned all about my quote-unquote microbiome. Girl, a lot is going on down there. And I shouldn't be the one to have to tell you about it, but just know it's a whole story and you're invited to learn, but brace yourself and hold your nose. But when I want to learn more about my metabolism, I turn to Lumen. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. All you have to do is breathe into your Lumen first thing in the morning, and you'll know what's going on with your metabolism, whether you're burning mostly fats or carbs. Then Lumen gives you a personalized nutrition plan for that day based on your measurements. You can also breathe into it before and after workouts and meals, so you know exactly what's going on in your body in real time. And Lumen will give you tips to keep you on top of your health game. So I'm somebody that tries to gain muscle no matter what, and if I take even a day off of eating a lot, my body relishes the opportunity to lose 9 to 11 pounds. Lumen tells me when I am gaining and what I am losing, and it's very, very specific about it, which is so helpful because it's the vagueness that gets you frustrated and disappointed with yourself. Because your metabolism is at the center of everything your body does, optimal metabolic health translates to a bunch of benefits, including easier weight management, improved energy levels, better fitness results, better sleep, etc. Lumen can also track your cycle as well as the onset of menopause and adjust your recommendations to keep your metabolism healthy through hormonal shifts so you can keep up your energy and stave off cravings. Take the next step to improving your health. Go to lumen.me/keepit to get 20% off your Lumen. That's lumen.me/keepit for 20% off your purchase. Thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring this episode. Keep It is brought to you by Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol. When Joe Biden won the 2020 election, and in the morning, Alex Trebek died. And I was partying with people, and my parents called me for our weekly Zoom meeting, and I looked like hell. And they said, "What happened, Louis?" And I explained to them that Alex Trebek had died. And they said, "We're going to leave you alone now." Thankfully, now we have pre-alcohol. Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night, drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. Now, let me let you in on a secret. Ira has told me that he uses this regularly, and it has really helped out his life. Even though the drinking responsibly part, who knows what's going on there. This college basketball season, don't let anything sideline your celebrations. Grab pre-alcohol before you go out and be ready to cheer on your team all day and all night long. Go to zbiotics.com/keepit to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use Keep It at checkout. Z-Biotics is backed with 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/keepit and use the code KEEPIT at checkout for 15% off. Last week, we talked about the Oscars. Did you watch them? What did you think?
I normally do watch the Oscars, but I didn't watch it in real time this time around because I had press very early the next morning, and I was like, I need to sleep because I need my brain to work. But I was watching a lot of it back, and I can tell you what I will. Number one, like Coleman Domingo, who is just. Mm-hmm. Oh my God!
He's bringing back snazz. Snazz is a lost celebrity art, and he is the snazziest man.
Like a Renaissance man, because he does everything. He writes, he directs, he produces. He's a creator. He is an innovator. He's a connector. He connects so many people. I love him to pieces. He's family, and he just looks so beautiful. He looks so stunning. Like when a red carpet sees him coming, it's like So I loved seeing just him in his presence, and I saw something online that was like what they didn't show you, and it's like him on stage. I don't know what he's doing.
He was like dancing or something. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Just like doing what Coleman does, bringing joy like wherever he goes, right? I really loved that, and yeah, one of my I did Birth of a Nation with Coleman, so that's where we connected. But I had actually met him before that, and just got to be in his orbit. And he's such a wonderful human being, and just love him. But I really loved. I'm like, since I'm just chatting about the things I like about the Oscars.
Please do.
I really love that medley with Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
I was like,
perfectly picked songs. Yeah.
I like when she started singing from The Wiz, singing Home, I was like, what? Like that meant so much to me. Like, I felt like that, what a beautiful way to honor The Wiz and like our culture's answer to The Wizard of Oz, and like being captured in that storyline and what that film was. I mean, for me growing up anyways, like, oh, like that was so powerful. That was so beautiful. Like, to me, that was like the top moment of the show.
Have you, I mean, speaking of like Coleman, I mean, also you worked with Anjanou Ellis also on Birth of a Nation. I mean, and also you had this film, The Knife, that premiered at Tribeca with Melissa Leo. I mean, you're just racking up the icons here. Do you have any moments from just some of these powerhouse actors that you've worked alongside where you sort of filed something away? You were like, I haven't like approached acting in this way before, but like I want to do it. I want to try this trick next time.
Everyone is so different in their approach to acting, and it is amazing to like watch how they kind of get into it and get into that world. I think Kerry Washington, with Scandal, I think she used to talk about how like she can't make fun of it. She, in playing this part, and it's like, we look at it and it's like it is this high key, drama, that is easy to be like, oh my God, like not
we
again.
We make all the Scandal jokes,
right. But she was like, I can't make fun of it because I need to be able to like do it and ground it in that reality and like keep that world real. She was like, y'all can make fun of it, but I like, in order for me to play that character, I can't. And I really appreciated that, because I think when she had shared that with me, I was getting to a point on Murder where I was like, another body, like, oh, we gonna kill somebody every season, like what's happening? And when I talked to her about that and she shared that with me, I really took that to heart, because I was like, oh, because if you start to do that, it's like your brain kind of splits, because you're in the role doing it, but then you start criticizing and joking about yourself while doing it, and I think it makes it harder to play, because you have to be sincere with it in the moment, like let everyone outside throw their point of view on top of it, but you still have to be true to your character and figure out your way through that. And because so much about acting is being solution oriented, in terms of like how you play a scene, how you find the solution, what feels right for the character. And it's going to be so much more challenging to do that if you are making fun of yourself while you're doing it. Like, and then something's just going to start ringing false in your performance, and it becomes a hill to climb in order to play that part, and that's not fun. I don't think,
That makes so much sense, I feel like, because now I feel like she has really sort of embraced like Scandal references now and jokes on social media and everything, and I feel like she must be getting out all the shit that she didn't get to do before.
Yes, exactly, right? Yes.
One last question, which is, I believe you got a voicemail one time from Angela Bassett. Can you please explain this story? Because if Angela Bassett calls me, that's the last. I have to throw away the phone after. It's the last thing that will happen on that phone.
Serena from Gossip Girl.
Yeah,
just throwing the phone in the trash.
Just putting it in a shrine forever. Yeah. So this is crazy. This was like I was going to go to Yale Drama School, and my mother happened to know someone that knew Angela Bassett, and my mother didn't tell me that like this was going to happen. And I get a call one day from a blocked number, because famous people be blocking their numbers. And I listened to the voicemail message, and it's like, "Hi, this is Angela Bassett calling," and I'm like, "Oh my God!" Like, Angela Bassett called me, and I didn't pick up the phone. Like, what? And she left me this message, basically explaining that she was going to call me back and to pick up the phone. And
she's like, "You will pick up this time.
You will pick up this time." And I was just like in my backyard staring at the phone, like waiting for it to ring, like I will not miss this call. and she did call back, and we talked for probably like half an hour to an hour, which, I mean, was such a generous gift that she gave me that day to just talk to me about like the craft of acting and going to school and the industry and, you know, just being an artist and having integrity and what all of that should mean to me and how proud of myself I should be for getting into this school and just everything like that. And it is to this day something that I hold so dear, because I am sat with the feeling of, wow, you didn't know me at all. You didn't have to do this. I wasn't expecting it. No one would have known. And yet you took the time to call a stranger and just be like, here's a piece of advice, you know? And it made me feel worthy. It just made me feel so worthy. And I feel like there is such a deep sisterhood in this industry where I feel like women, but really Black women in particular, really take care of one another. And it's so significant, and it is the thing that has driven me, and it has brought me into spaces and made me feel like I belong and I matter, and I've earned my spot amongst them. And there's just such a love and a care there that is utterly beautiful, and I hope everyone gets to feel like that, because like I'm just like, no one can make you feel good the way a Black woman can make you feel good.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I also want to say, you graduated 2010 Yale, right?
Yes.
So I feel like I definitely saw part of your showcase. I had my friend Fisher Neal graduated 2011. He was in Lupita's class. Yes. And my friend Jean Luc. Like, so I like saw the 2010. I saw the 2011 year. Yeah.
Oh my God! Wow. Yes. It's so crazy. Small world. I love that.
Yeah.
Is that Devine Joy Randolph around that time too? She was Yale drama, right?
Yes, she was. She was the year under Lupita.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That is
right?
just a list of Black icons.
It me, Devine, and then Lupita? It's so hard.
I think Lupita,
it's so hard to remember.
That's a good question. Yeah, Devine's like my age. Lupita's a little old, but I guess you can go to.
But we were all there at the same time. Mm-hmm. Like, but I think when I was a third year, I think Lupita was a first year. Mm-hmm. Oh man, now I can't remember the order.
This will be chronicled in another series someday.
I know, right?
Then we'll know. Yeah.
Like, right.
I need that book, actually. The book of like all of you, your stories at Yale. I would read that.
I know. But I have to say, like, even then, you know, like Devine's voice, oh God, like I feel like no one's really heard her sing yet, because Devine, her voice is like, oh my God, because she trained in opera, actually, and she has this powerhouse of a voice. She is such a talented, she's a talented everything, but you would be shocked to know what an incredible singer she is. So I hope there will be something on the horizon where she'll get to show that off, because it's insane. And when Lupita was there, like, we all knew, like, because what she brought, I'll never forget watching her in a performance of Uncle Vanya and talking to her afterwards, because like she, for me, I read that play so many times and I worked on so many scenes and I never really got it. It never clicked for me. And then when I watched her do it, I was like, that's what it's supposed to be. That's what it is. And it's just people that are able to just divine this deep understanding of what these characters are, like the way that she works, how she is able to emotionally connect to the material on this level and just like build that world around her. she's a magnificent talent. Like, I mean, they're both just utterly incredible. And yeah, and I'm like really happy that I got to see them at school, before the world got to know who they are.
Okay, well, now you're going to have me thinking about Davon in like a revival of Caroline or Change for like the rest of my life now.
Oh my God.
So please help make that happen.
Yes. Well, Davon did Sister Act on Broadway, actually.
Really?
Yes.
I did not see that. Oh my God.
Right? Like, yes. I'm bringing out all the old gems.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're telling me we put this woman on Only Murders in the Building and we still didn't get... Wasn't everybody else singing? Anyway, I'm confused.
Well,
that other Yale broad, Meryl, got to sing.
Like, yeah. On Only Murders, Davon did sing a little bit in the season with Meryl because they were trying to trick her with something, and she sang just a little bit of was it like a chorus line? So you got to hear just a little taste of her voice, but it didn't even begin to touch what she can do vocally.
Another fave show.
I know, right? But also back to everyone watch Grosse Pointe Garden Society.
Please.
Oh yeah, right.
No, please. No, listen, I loved How to Get Away with Murder. I'm an OG Desperate Housewives stan. I was watching this before. I knew you were coming on. I was so excited that you were cast in it. I think people were like, "Why's Ira commenting on this? Does he love this show? Is he excited?" I was like, "I'm here for it. I'm a big fan of the show, so I will be watching every week."
So good. It is so delicious. Like, I love this show. It is just giving everything that we have been needing. It is truly escapist, and yeah, it's like just sit back, relax, sip on what you need to sip on, and enjoy.
The cast is great. Ben Rappaport, Anna Sophia Robb. Oh, I mean,
Melissa
the Kerry
Fumero.
Diaries.
Yes.
My Life. Melissa Fumero is so funny, and you're really, really great. So yeah, congrats.
Thank you. So great.
Thank you so much for being here. What a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love chatting with you guys. This was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.